Hi everyone, PhoneArena here with the new Samsung Stratosphere. It's currently available through Verizon Wireless with a price of $149 with a 2-year contract. The Samsung Stratosphere is the first 4G LTE smartphone that also comes equipped with a built-in sliding QWERTY keyboard here. All the other 4G phones currently only have a on-screen keyboard, so this is definitely a first to have a sliding a QWERTY on a 4G smartphone with Verizon. Other than that, the handset is pretty much a standard for an Android device. On the front here we have a 4-inch WVGA resolution Super AMOLED display. It's not the Super AMOLED Plus, just the regular Super AMOLED, which means it's not quite as bright as when used outside, so it's going to be a little bit dimmer when trying to use in bright sunlight. At the bottom down here you have your 4 capacitive buttons. Up at the top is a 1.3 megapixel camera, volume rocker on the side, 3.5mm headset jack on the top, power lock key on the right, and micro USB port on the back. 5 megapixel camera with LED flash. It's also a 1800 milliamp battery. It's also got a 4 gigabyte micro SD memory card. As far as the keyboard, it's actually pretty nice. It's a 5-row design instead of a 4-row that we normally see. The numbers up here at the top have their own individual rows. As you can see, the keys are an actual pretty good size. There's some spacing between them. They're also kind of flat, but do raise up a little bit in the center. Using the keyboard is actually really nice on this. I actually kind of think it's a little bit better keyboard than what's on the Droid 3. Also have your menu, home, search, and back keys here on the side, which mimic the ones here on the bottom of the display. Also directional up and down arrows on here. So overall, really nice design of the keyboard. The only thing we've noticed about it is that sometimes the keyboard can feel like it's sticking, and you can also, when you're opening and closing it, you can kind of feel the keys here actually pressing against the back of the display. So it's not really the best sliding mechanism that we've seen, but the keyboard is actually laid out really nice. Also, as you can tell, when the keyboard's open, you also have that landscape view here on the home screens, and when it's closed, home screens go back to the portrait on here. Size of the phone is pretty good, fits relatively nice in the hand. Samsung finally got rid of the slick plastic cover on the back. This one's actually a soft touch with some grooved on there, so it does provide the phone to feel a little bit better gripped while in your hand. We like that the Samsung Stratosphere comes running Android 2.3.5 Gingerbread right out of the box. I only have a total of 5 home screens here on the device, which is kind of curious, as most other ones have 7 home screens. As you can see, you can move between them pretty quickly, really no delay on here. Also have that helicopter view if you want to change between home screens quickly. Down at the bottom are your buttons for accessing the phone, contacts, messaging, and applications. When going into the applications, you scroll side to side between those. You can also edit them by moving them around in different spaces if you want, and you can also change that to a alphabetized list view. As far as the widgets are concerned, not a huge selection on here. I mean, there's some standard ones like a clock and picture frame, dual clocks, and weather, but it doesn't really have some of the advanced widgets that we've seen on some of the Galaxy S phones, such as the Samsung Droid Charge. So overall, nothing really out of the ordinary on here as far as the user interface is concerned. Here we've got the web browser loaded up. Takes about 35 seconds to fully load the PhoneArena.com website. That's including all Flash content on there. But one thing that we've noticed as you scroll through it, it does kind of stutter from time to time, and sometimes you might get those checkerboard like that on there when trying to scroll. So it's not the best browser that we've seen on an Android smartphone. We're not really sure why it kind of delays like this, but it's alright for moderate usage. There you can see it doing it again. Pinch to zoom also kind of stutters when you're trying to use it. So it's alright to use, but like we said, not the overall best web browser on an Android smartphone. Here we've got the speedtest.net app loaded up. Just ran it a moment ago. We're going to run it again here just to verify speeds. Right now we're pulling around 8 megabits per second on downloads, and anywhere between 4 to 5 megabits on uploads. Not that bad, but during peak congestion times, we've seen the uploads drop anywhere between 3 to 4. The only thing that we should point out is with the 4G connection. The phone, just like the Samsung Droid Charge, likes to drop the 4G connection. Just a few moments ago it did it, and we had to go into the airplane mode and toggle that on and off for it to re-pick up the 4G. Basically what it seems to do is it drops 4G, changing to 3G, and kind of just stays locked there. And when it does that, we have to go in the airplane mode, toggle that on and off for it to finally go back and pick up the 4G mode again. So it's kind of a pain when it happens. Sometimes it happens more than others, but we've got a Droid Bionic here that it doesn't really happen that often to, where the Samsung Stratosphere and Droid Charge seems to be a little bit more problematic. Despite the 4G connection issues that we had with the Samsung Stratosphere, voice call reception was actually pretty good, average anywhere between 2 to 3 bars in our area, and we never dropped any calls. Voice quality through the earpiece speaker was also pretty good. There was no background noise or distortion on there. Also, the speakerphone through the rear speaker also does quite well on there. Overall, the Samsung Stratosphere is a pretty decent phone for the price. Currently at $149 with a 2-year contract with Verizon. Of course, its big selling points is the 4-inch Super AMOLED display on there, and the 5-row QWERTY keyboard. Like we mentioned earlier, is one of the better keyboards that we've seen on a smartphone. The 4G speeds are good when it is connected, but unfortunately it seems like Samsung might have a little bit of an issue here, as this is now the second 4G device that we've had from them that's had connection issues. But I would suggest trying it in your area. You might have better luck than us here down in Fort Lauderdale. So if you want to find out some more information about the Samsung Stratosphere, be sure to go to our website at PhoneArena.com.